Hello, everyone. This is Charles Msilanga. Let me know if you can hear me. Welcome to my YouTube channel and those watching us from Facebook and Twitch. Thank you for joining us. And today we want to talk about the battle of delay. The battle of delay. Now, I have a lot of points and insights to share about this particular topic, because many people have had their destinies not come to reality because they have not been able to win this battle of delay, and more so, they have not been able to be intentional about being aware that there is a battle called the battle of delay that hinders us from achieving or becoming everything that God has called and created us to become. So that is what I've prepared for you today, and I just want to get to see how many of us are watching us live. We are on YouTube, and we would love to see how many people are joining us live in this session. So yes, if you can hear me or if you can join me, please let me know in the comment section. I am able to see on Facebook and Twitch as well as YouTube. So happy to join you guys, and looking forward to serve you all. So if you can hear me, please let me know. If you can hear me, please let me know. So we're talking about the battle of delay. The battle of delay. The battle of delay. Just making sure that people in Facebook can see us. Just making sure people on Facebook can see us. We're talking about the battle of delay. Please lock in because I'm going to teach you and make you aware of some of the delays that we have been able to experience in our lives that have hindered us from becoming what we were called and created to become. And that is costing us a lot of potential that ought to be released from ourselves and from our lives to serve the world, and that potential is not being released because of this battle that we lose called the battle of delay. So tune in, please share this to your friends, to your family, and everybody who is in your circle of friends. I'll appreciate a lot, because my hope, my prayer is that I get to make sure as many people get blessed with this message as possible. So I think we are live on Facebook as well. So if you can hear me on Facebook, please let me know. So we're talking about the battle of delay, the battle of delay. And that's what we're talking about today. And yes, sir, I see we are live on Facebook as well. Thank you everyone for joining. So we're talking about the battle of delay, the battle of delay, the battle of delay. Many of us are going through that battle. Many of us are fighting that battle. And fortunately or unfortunately, many of us are losing that battle. And that's why I'm talking about that subject. I'm teaching about that subject, rather. And it's my hope and prayer that we will be able to come, learn, and be able to get the inspiration that is required so that we can be able to win this battle called the battle of delay. And many people are fighting this battle, but sadly, many people are not aware of this battle, the battle of delay. That's what I'm going to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. And if you can, please share this to your friends, share this to your family, share this on your Facebook page, share this to your loved ones, because I believe we are going to learn some lessons that will not only inspire us, but lessons that will transform us. Yes. So I'm super excited to teach this subject called the battle of delay. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my ultimate belief that us human beings were not brought into this world by mistake. This is my belief in life. It's my belief in all the days of my life. And if you're listening to me right now and you're wondering what was I called to do in this earth, or who am I supposed to become and whatnot, and those kinds of questions, I want you to understand and I want you to learn and realize that I might not know exactly what you're called to become, but one thing I know is you're not called to become a nobody. One thing I know is you are not called to become a useless person. One thing I know is you are not called just to live in this life, or you're not born just to live in this life and just to experience life ordinarily and just die. I believe you were called and you were born into this earth to contribute something that the world needs, very badly, and you have that particular thing. And if you don't use it or you don't release it to the world might not become better because of your inability to take action and your inability to do something that you are called to do, and that thing has not been able to be realized, thus making the world to be where it is or where we currently are. And this is just an encouragement to let you know and to make you aware that your life is meant to bring a positive impact into this earth. And this is also to remind you that when God created you, He created you with a purpose. He created you for a reason, and He created you so that you can become somebody who will not only be able to grow and achieve the great things that you're supposed to achieve, but also to become a blessing to this generation and to become a blessing to everyone that encounters you or everyone that goes through your path as far as life is concerned. And also sometimes, and many times actually, your decisions to do what you're called to do might affect and impact people positively during your lifetime, and sometimes, and many times actually, will affect people generationally. Let me give you an example. The people who, let's say, invented the aeroplane or discovered that it is possible to fly, they were people who brought these ideas to the world to inspire and impact and influence the world. But the reality is they have been a blessing not only to the people who they could see directly during their lifetime, but they've also been a blessing to the lives of many other people who they could not see in generations to come. I believe that even you might not be able to invent something like an aeroplane, but there is something that is unique that God has put in you. It could be ideas, it could be books, it could be music, it could be songs, it could be plays, it could be businesses, it could be talents that if you only unleash and give to the world, through serving the world with your gifts, your ideas, and your talents, then generations could be able to experience a blessing and their lives to be even much better compared to where they are today, because of your ability to say yes to the things that have been installed in you and your ability to release those things to the world so that we can be able to enjoy and benefit from that. Now, here is to also say and help you understand and remember that everyone in this world, everyone, and I mean everyone, as long as you're breathing, there is always something positive that you ought to contribute to make sure that the world gets better. It doesn't matter how your history has been, and it doesn't matter how your past has been. As long as you're breathing, as long as you're living, and as long as you're listening to me right now, here is to encourage you and to tell you that there is something great that should come from you, because the reality is, as long as you're living and breathing, God is not yet done with you. God still wants to use you. God still wants to manifest himself through you, and God still wants the people or his people to enjoy a blessing that comes from you or from your gifts and from your talents. Now, that is something that is fundamentally significant as far as our lives is concerned, as far as our purposes is concerned, and as far as our decisions and the realization that time is not on our side is concerned. And this is to tell you that the inspiration of this message, called the Battle of Delay, has come out because people do not understand that they do not have time. And many people listening to me probably could relate the fact that they might not have been able to achieve several things in their lifetime, not because they could not achieve them because of their potential, but they did not achieve them because they have been individuals and people who are not able to understand and realize the sensitivity of time and the sensitivity and the urgency it takes for them to unleash the things that they are required to unleash as far as their talents, giftings, and potential is concerned. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You need to understand and realize that your life right now and your living right now, there are things that you have to be very, very aware of. And one of those things is the fact that you need to be aware and sensitive to the principle of time. You see, many people think and believe that they have time. And especially if you're a young person listening to me right now, I want to remind you and to help you understand and realize that the fallacy of you thinking that you have time is one of the biggest misconceptions that could cost you not only your life, but it could cost you your joy, your peace, and even that seed that God has put in you. You see, many of us live in a way thinking and understanding or accepting the fact that there is always a tomorrow, which, by the way, is not guaranteed. But we live understanding and we live thinking and believing that there is always a tomorrow to do something. There is always a tomorrow to be able to invest that particular thing that I want to invest, instead of starting and doing it today. And I'm telling you this because many times when you are a young person, we have different priorities as far as our choices and decisions is concerned. And when you're a young person, you forget to understand and appreciate the fact that you are not only a young person, but you are also able to access things, people, and places that many times you could not access them if you are not young. Let me expound further. Let me give you an example. If you are a student, for example, if you're a student in college or university, or even sometimes high school, There are places you can easily access compared to somebody who has finished college or who is probably looking for a job. Let me expound further. You see, if you are a student right now and you go to a place and you say, I am a student and maybe it's a company, for example, and you tell them, I'm here because I want to volunteer so that I can learn. There are many times people will look at you and they already will be wowed by what you have just said or the request that you have made, by the mere fact that many students are not doing that, by the mere fact that many students might not be having that idea or that initiative to go to a place where they say, I am a student and I want to learn more compared to what I'm learning in class. I want to learn more practical and add it to the theory that I'm currently having. You see, if you are a student and you do that, there are high chances you will be able to access certain places because you have more than what other ordinary students are doing. Other ordinary students, most likely, they go to class and maybe they party or they do other stuff that might not be very, very honorable. But if you are a student and you go to places and you introduce yourself and you say, I am a student and I am ABCD, I want to do that, and you're young, trust me, that is one way of standing out. And I believe you need to be able to be a person who stands out of the crowd, because if you do what everyone is doing, you will get what everyone is getting, and you will become the way everyone is becoming. And that is just one example about accessing places and understanding the ability and the gift that as a student you're having, or as a young person you're having, because many times people might not think the way I have just shown you, or they think the way I have just advised or given as an example. And that is to say that if you're a young person, do not waste your time, because the delay that comes with, especially if you're young and you have missed some of the opportunities that came your way and you didn't do anything about them, that pain of regret is significantly painful compared to the pain of discipline that you probably should have taken or would have taken initially when you're a young person. And so that is why today I want to talk about this subject, the battle of delay. The battle of delay, or the delay battle. Many people have been able to be significantly discouraged because they could not be able to understand or be aware that there is a battle called the delay battle. Now, maybe I might do 2 parts of this particular series. Maybe I will do 3, because it's something that is deep in my heart and I have a lot to share about this particular subject. And that is why I am saying that I might do 2 sessions or 2 parts or 3 parts about this particular topic. Now, the first thing I also wanted to add and state about the battle of delay, or the delay battle, is to tell you that we need to be sensitive when it comes to time. We need to be sensitive when it comes to time. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand and realize that this thing called time is a precious commodity, and it's a gold if we are able to mine it well or utilize it well. The reality is we always have this thing called time as a constant in our lives. Time waits for no one. Time is a constant. Time will go whether or not we feel good. Time will go whether or not we are doing something. Time will go whether or not we are productive in anything as far as our lives is concerned. And that is why I want us to be very, very sensitive and very aware when I talk about this thing called time. Now, you need to know the first thing is that delay oftentimes could be caused by many things, but one of the thing is the aspect of us not being sensitive to this thing called time. Now, there are different circumstances, different needs, different hopes, different aspiration that you might be having and saying that I probably should have experienced or should not have experienced delay in a particular thing or delay in things that I cannot control. That's a separate thing. Maybe you're expecting a baby and there is a delay and you're doing everything you can. That's not what I want to talk about, the things that we cannot control. But I want to talk about things like goals, ambitions, and desires and plans that we have for our lives, which most of them we can control. And I want to connect that to us being sensitive as far as time is concerned. Now, here is to tell you that many of us currently, we are not sensitive to the principle of timing because we do not want to do or to start that thing, that dream, that ambition that we have within our lives today. This is to ask you a question. Many of us, maybe you're listening to me right now, and I'll tell you this. Maybe there is something you've always wanted to start. It's in your heart, and maybe as you're listening to me right now, it's burning and you are thinking about that particular thing, and you have just not been able to do that thing. You probably have had a desire, or you probably have had a goal, a dream, an ambition that you've always been telling yourself, you know what, I want to do that particular thing. You know what, I want to try this particular thing. You know what, I want to take an initiative in this particular thing. And you've been telling yourself over and over and over again. And the biggest thing you've been doing is looking for how it cannot be done instead of how it can be done. And that has been able to make you to waste your time because of thinking that there are many ways of how it cannot be done instead of thinking of ways on how it can be done. And here's to tell and to remind someone that you will always, and I repeat, you will always never be ready to do something. I mean, there will always be a reason as to why you should not do something. Every time, every day, there is always a reason as to why you should not start something. There is always a reason as to why you should not engage in a particular thing. There is always a reason as to why you should not do a particular thing. And that is what I'm telling you, that if you blame that reason and if you always focus on that particular reason as to why you're not doing a particular thing, my friend, you are wasting your time. You see, I'm a believer that there is a difference between having resources and being resourceful. And when you are having resources and you are not resourceful, chances are high that you will not be able to succeed at anything that you have set yourself to succeed, regardless of what it is and regardless of how easy it might be. The other thing is, if you are resourceful, but maybe you might not be having resources, chances are high that you will succeed in anything that you set yourself to work on and succeed on, even if that particular thing is as difficult and as hard as hell. That is a fact. I believe in it, and I know it's possible, and I've read many people who have been able to walk towards that principle, and myself as well. I'm a testimony of things that if I look back, I wonder, how did I do it? But it's that understanding and realizing that there is a difference between having resources and being resourceful. And I always want and strive to be a resourceful man, because I know being the resourceful man will always attract the resources that you need so that you can be able to succeed in the things that you want to succeed and anything that you want to grow, build, and develop on. Let me know if you agree with me on that. Just put it on the chat. If you agree with what I'm saying, just put it on the chat. I want to see if you agree with what I'm saying, that it is very important for you to be resourceful more than having resources. It's good to have both, having resources and being resourceful. It's very good to have both. But the reality is, the one who has resources and does not have resourcefulness will always be defeated by that person who does not have resources but is resourceful. Thank you so much, Sneta Iliasa from Malawi. Thank you for joining and thank you for your comment. So what I'm saying is that there's a difference between being resourceful and having resources. Now, when you connect that to time, you need to understand that the person who does not have resourcefulness will always waste time and will always lose this delay battle. They will always delay their actions, they will always delay their journey, and they will always delay their success. And talking and connecting to the principle of timing and the principle of resourcefulness, you need to understand and realize that many people who do not have the resourceful principle or the resourcefulness awareness within them will always and often blame something other than themselves for not being or achieving the thing that they want to achieve in their lives. Let me say that again. People who are not resourceful will always blame something or someone because of them not being able to achieve the things they want to achieve. It's as simple as that. And that's why today I want to tell you, be a resourceful person. Delay brings stoppage in our destinies. No one likes delay. And delays, many of them could be solved by us having the principle of resourcefulness. That principle will make you to take action. That principle will make you to start today. That principle will make you to do something and get to a point or a level that you will be able to appreciate the gifts that you have and work on them and do something on them. That's very important. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is in terms of this topic, the delay battle, is the realization of the need to take action. The realization of the need to take action. You see, many people, many of us, we are dwelling much in the pain of delay or the pain of things not happening at the timing we want them to happen or at the moment we expect them to happen, which sometimes, yes, they're not under our control, but the times where they are on our control, we are not just taking action. We just don't want to take the action, and that causes or that forces us to be in a point or a position where we lose the delay battle. We lose the delay battle. Now, here's to tell you that every time you feel some sense of stagnation in your life, there are things that it comes along with it, and sometimes stagnation comes along with pain. It comes along with discouragements. It comes along with the feeling of giving up. But the truth is, taking action will erase and eradicate all those feelings when we are in a point or a season of stagnation. Taking action will eradicate all those feelings that we are experiencing when we are going through stagnation. And let me tell you something. I believe there is always something we can do to make a progress. And apart from speaking, one of the things I want to tell you a story. Apart from speaking, one of the things I'm doing right now is building a startup. I'm building a startup that maybe I might not disclose much right now, but I can tell you it's very difficult. It's extremely difficult, especially in the venture and the industry that we are in. It's very difficult, and I'll tell you this: we get a lot of discouragements many times in a week. We get a lot of rejections. We get a lot of no's. We get many responses that are not in our favor. We get a lot of hurdles. We get a lot of challenges and a lot of things that come our way to beat us, that are meant for making us, or are meant to make us to stagnate, to stop, or to give up. But you know what I tell our team member? You know what I tell our team, our team members? That every progress is a win, regardless of how small or big it is. And this is something that has really helped us. It has really made us to stand strong even when the winds are stronger than our strength. It has made us to maneuver by the grace of God through the significant challenges that we are going through each and every single day, building this thing, building this startup. And I've come to understand and realize the principle of taking action and just wanting to win, wanting to have a progress. And this progress doesn't have to be big, even if it's a small progress, but it's done every day. It goes through a principle called the compounding effect, the compounding principle, where this progress grows every single day, and with time you will eventually see the progress that you have seen. It's like when a tree is planted and a tree grows. Many times you might not see necessarily, you might not see the growth in a day, but gradually with time you will be able to see growth that has been significant, even though every single day when you look at it you might not see it growing. It's like a baby. I have a 11-month-old baby girl, and she just grows every single day, but we don't see it. But when we see her photos of how she was when she was 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, we're like, wow, this little girl has grown. She has grown. And you can see the progress, and when you look back you see the progress. But what am I saying? I'm saying that she's been growing every single day. The small progress that she has been able to experience, some of them we cannot see, and with time that progress is a big one, and you can see the difference, and you can see that the progress is tremendously huge and tremendously big. And that is what I'm trying to make you understand and realize, that if you want to win the battle of delay, one of the things you need to do is to take action. And action doesn't have to be a big, massive success in one day. You just have to be a person who will take small victories, small wins consistently, and with time you will be able to see the victory and you'll be able to see the difference. It's like somebody going to the gym. That person going to the gym might not see the bicep going big in a day. But if they continue growing to the gym and going through the gym, you will be able to see and realize that that person will come at a point where in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 12 months, 2 years, with consistency, you will be able to see how big those people have become or that person has become. And that is the progress we're talking about. But in reality, when it comes to our lives goals, our lives missions, and our lives decisions, and our hopes and ambitions that we have in life, many times when we work on things and they don't work in day one, day two, week one, week two, month one, month two, many of us, we are getting discouraged by that delay, and we are people who give up because we do not want to be consistent as far as taking action is concerned. And that is the thing I want you to understand and realize, that maybe you're going through a delay, maybe you're going through a season in your life where the delay is huge, the pain is huge, and you're listening to me right now, and here is to tell you, yes, there is pain, yes, there is delay, but one thing you need to understand and realize is that you have to be able to be a person who you should be able to do one thing, even if it's small, every single day, and you will be able to see and experience the victory with time. Remember, it's not about the intensity that you do in one day, it's about the consistency that you do every single day. And that is what we were talking about, and that's all I want you all to understand, realize, and implement. So that's what I'm talking about, the battle of delay. The other thing I want to make you aware and to make you understand, even as we're talking about this battle of delay, is the aspect of learning even when you're going through a delay. Learning even when you're going through a delay. This is a mindset thing. The next point is a mindset thing where I've come to understand and realize that many times when we are praying for something, many times when we are trusting God for a particular miracle, an open door, a breakthrough, or anything good that we want to happen in our lives, we tend to be people, many times, we tend to be people who just go through that delay with pain, and we're just going through it, experiencing pain, forgetting the fact that in that delay we are probably supposed to be learning something. I always say sometimes staying is better than going, because you see, I believe sometimes, especially when you are trusting for a certain opportunity and that opportunity is not coming through, the reality is you should be the kind of a person who is doing something even as you're waiting. For example, when you're waiting for the harvest to come, you have to also be the kind of a person who is preparing for the barns and the baskets, so that when the harvest comes, you are able to make sure you have enough place to store the harvest. And that's a mindset issue, because one thing I've learned and one thing I've seen and experienced people doing is when they are waiting for something, all they do is wait, and they forget that they have an opportunity and a chance to do more than just waiting. Waiting is good, but sometimes you need to also learn to understand and realize that even as you're waiting, there ought to be something that you should be doing. And here's to tell you and to make you aware and to make you understand that it's good to wait, but at the same time, it's also good to do something as you're waiting. Somebody said that success is when opportunity meets preparation. You see, opportunity, you might wait for it, but if you're not prepared for certain opportunities, those opportunities will come, those opportunities will pass you, simply because you have not had the mindset of preparing yourself for that opportunity. And that's the whole essence about understanding and realizing that even as I'm waiting, the battle of delay, even as I'm waiting, I am also preparing. Even as I'm waiting for that goal, I am preparing a capacity so that I can handle. Even as I'm waiting for that particular job, I'm also building my capacity so that I can handle it. Even as I'm waiting to get into that next level, I am a person who is building the capacity so that I can be able to handle that opportunity and be a good steward. That's very, very important. That's very, very important, and it's extremely important. So I hope this message has touched someone, and I hope you understand and realize that this battle of delay is a battle that we ought to fight it with the wisdom, we ought to fight it with understanding, and we ought to fight it with some principle. Remember the 3 points that I talked about. Number 1, always have an understanding of timing. Always have an understanding of timing. Understanding of timing. Number 2, be patient even as you're waiting. Be patient even as you're waiting. Number 3, do something even as you are waiting. Do something even as you're waiting. The reality is, you are created for something great and significant. And every time you wait for something and there is a delay in some things, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing to prepare myself? Or what is the cause of this delay, and how can I be able to prepare myself so that when I am at a point where the time ought to be right, I will be able to redeem and restore all that I lost while I was waiting. And also, I'll encourage you to pray, because some delays are not normal. I'll encourage you to pray and have an understanding and realization that delays could cost you. They could cost you significantly as far as this journey of life and destiny is concerned. But the truth of the matter, it is only God who can redeem time. And I will always encourage you, some delays we ought to wait, and some delays we ought to fight. And the biggest fighting weapon you have is that of prayer and action taking. So I hope this blesses you, encourages you, and gives you a perspective of hope, inspiration, and drive. This is Charles Msilanga, and thank you to everyone who's joined us today. Thank you to everyone who has been part of this live session. I do not take it for granted, and I want to say thank you, and thank you very much. Wishing you all a wonderful time, and let's stay in touch.